Welcome to our March 2024 Te Ahua Turanga Manawatu Tararua Highway drone flyover. This time you're flying with Mike Casady, the construction manager, and I'm really keen to sort of give you a bit of an insight into the number of people and the different disciplines that are working on the site. A question I'm always asked is how many people are working on the site, and I find it very difficult to answer because it's thousands over the duration of the job. There, our Te Whare Pumanawa, affectionately known as the White House, is the hub, and there's about 100 people in there doing really supportive functions. Just there, you can see the lab. That's our IONS accredited laboratory. There's 25 odd people in there. They're all doing things like sampling, testing, just making sure we get our quality assurance right. Coming up to here, people are often surprised when I say there's about 60 people working on that bridge. They just all disappear into little areas and beaver away day in, day out. Great to see the form traveller extending out on the balanced cantilever superstructure there now. People can really see how that works. You can actually see our second pair of form travellers is now under operation in the middle of the bridge. That first set will actually, in about a month's time, jump over and sit on that third one, which is just nearing completion of the pier table. Just up here, we jump over a little land span, we call it, to the Eco Viaduct. We've got about 30 workers here beavering away, now putting on precast panels, reinforcing the deck, and then you can see there we've actually got some of the deck concreted. So we bring in concrete workers and everything to do the finishing there. Just even looking up at the bush on the side there, that's we have pest controllers go through there and on a regular basis and control the pests, all these different things that you associate with a project. The planting, beautiful to see that starting to really show through now. By the time we open, that'll be those will be decent bushes. But we have a team of about 25 that do the planting, and this season they'll get pretty much through their 1.8 million. If you just work that out, that's like about 70,000 plants per person. Pretty impressive mahi. There's just one of the last little bits of earthworks we're doing. You know, height of the season, 130 odd people on machines moving the dirt. That's just finishing off the little bit of shared use path that we've got to build. Originally it was going to cut around the back of that hill, but there's too many slips in there, so we've reshaped the whole thing to come around the front side. Up the hill here, previous videos you would have seen stabilising the cement, stabilising the sub base. That's all done. We're already waiting for the asphalt to go on there and make our way up through here. So in previous videos you would have seen this massive cut just coming down, and it's now getting into the phase where we're starting to build the concrete channels and curb and channel, and all the drainage is actually in here. We've got 5 crews across site just doing that, and there's probably about 4 or 5 teams in each crew. So you can sort of see how the different disciplines add up to the thousands that we put through over the duration of the job. Just always interesting to see a shot like this with the wind farm looking majestic as ever. We come through here and we just chop right through where their cables used to go. So in the early days, that was one of the first things we had to do. We had to bring in a lot of specialist people to help us with that, and that's just a good example of just the supply chain and the subcontractors that we need to support us to build these jobs. Survey, you know, we drive through this flyover, or fly through the flyover, and you don't see a single set out peg. All this work is done with machine control. That's digital 3D models put into the machines, and all those guys build it from that and so we have a team of about 10 surveyors that make sure that the benchmark controls are all accurate and we stay on grade. This was such an awesome fill to get completed across this gully. Quite a big catchment in here, so when you try and put a culvert, 30 odd metres down, it's always challenging. So to get that behind us, and you can see the batters are all grassed off now, and to do that we have people come in to do the grassing and hydroseeding, and it sort of kind of reminds me of our environmental teams that we have working for us in close conjunction with Tipatahi. It's our kaitiaki, and they just make sure that we are treating lightly, not affecting the environment. The old stockpile site there, that pile of aggregate will be gone in the next month, and it'll be replaced with an asphalt plant, one of two, and that's just a whole another series of resource we need to establish and get going and put through our inductions. A lot of people might recognise this from previous flyovers, but this is the Cook Road underpass. It's where the shared use path crosses underneath the alignment. It goes from one side to the other side. Just on the right you can see the viewing platform access. So you'll be able to pull off to the side of the road and actually go for a look up there. You can see our drainage crews working along here, putting pavement drains. That's drains that take the water that may get into the aggregate and make sure the road lasts, because this is what this job's all about. Now you can see the shared use path there on the left hand side, just looking great. Good example of a grader working there, trimming the subgrade in preparation for the layers of base course that will go on. We've got about 5 pavement crews on site. This is just a great shot of the final finishing works that we're doing now, and you start on the outside and you work in, and then you finish with the line marking and the barriers that we've got to put on, so more people to come. What a fantastic day we're flying this in. It's not always like this up here, that's for sure. Cutting through cut 25, that was the last cut we had on the job, and it's great to have behind us. You can see the subgrade is nicely trimmed and ready for the next phase of drainage and pavement. So coming around the corner, there's a good example down there of still sediment control ponds and things like that we've still got to close out. We can only fill those in when the banks are all established with grass, and you can see we've got good examples there. Our environmental team, which comprises of about 12 people, constantly working on our environmental controls and keeping them up to standard. Then we have to move them, and then we actually have an inspection from Horizon Regional Council every week, and that's been going really well. We have a number of people that we call safety coaches that come through and keep an eye on what we're doing, looking at our critical risk areas, just asking the question really, what are you doing, what could go wrong, and how could you make it safer? So safety is at the forefront of all our minds all the time, and there's sort of a saying that you've got to always be uneasy about safety. So we've got a great track record to date, and we obviously want to maintain that. Just down there you can see there's a team there. They are responsible for rock bolting, drilling holes into the banks and actually grouting in anchors, and then we put mesh and shotcrete over it. So there's a team that we have there. As you come down this big fill, you can see the rock drains that we have to build to make sure they don't scour, and particularly in this Papa country. This is this bluey grey siltstone that you can see there. It is highly erodible. In fact, you can actually see examples of it in the efforts we're having to do to prevent that from mobilising. And coming down the hill in the distance, you can see Woodville. This is going to progress really quickly in up and coming months. The workshop down there for the earthworks team, they're just disbanding. Like I said earlier, we had 130 odd operators here on machines, and they're going off to other jobs now, and we move into these other disciplines. The Manawatu Bridge there, it's got its decks poured, everything's ready to go. We've got a couple of wing walls to build, and then we can actually do the last of our earthworks there, which we fill up the embankments. A few more aggregate stockpiles out to the left. They're actually going into the stretch down to the roundabout as we speak. Another great shot of the Manawatu Bridge. I will have missed people, and people are doing work for us, but it should give you a bit of an insight as just to how much work goes into, or how many people are needed, and the supply chain and everything that goes into building a project of this size. Up ahead is the good old roundabout that ties in at this end. It's all well advanced now with drainage, and it's got to have a lot of curb and channel. I want to just thank you all for watching, and looking forward to just doing the work so we can skite about it next time.